Hi, Algebra 1 students. Welcome to the first week of high school. This slideshow will cover our classroom expectations and go over the syllabus in more detail. Please watch and listen to the end, and then you'll be taking a quiz when you're done. Enjoy! Cell phones. Why are math teachers so picky about cell phones? Well, cell phones and math usually don't mix. There will be days when we will have activities that you'll need your cell phone, but we'll let you know. Focus on the class and you'll do much better. According to our handbook, we will usually be in a red zone. It's clearly labeled on the board. That means cell phones are put away in the cell phone holder in the room or in your backpack. That means silent, not in your lap, not with your earbuds, and not interacting with it at all. If a green sign is up, that means you can use it as you want. That will never happen in this room. And yellow is when we will be using it for certain activities like Kahoot. Consequences, our first is an offense. The first offense is a verbal warning. Second offense, you will lose a bathroom pass and we will contact your parents. And the third is a write-up. We rarely have to even go to the second offense. We take it seriously and our students do better when their cell phones are put away. But what does constitute an emergency? Mom or dad are in the hospital. You're waiting for a phone call about grandparents. Whatever that emergency is, please talk to us, your teachers, before class. Just give us a heads up. Say something like, hey, I'm expecting a phone call from my mom or dad today. If they call me, is it okay if I step out? And of course, we're going to say, yes, I will do the same. There might be days where I'm expecting an important phone call, and I will do the same with you. I will let you know if I have to step out. Thank you for putting your cell phones away. It really will make a difference in your math. You received a syllabus from your teacher the first day of school. We're going to take a deeper look into that syllabus and try to understand why it is important. Many of us are back in school receiving the syllabus, and it's an important document to help you understand the class and the expectations in that class. So let's get started. Why we want you to read the syllabus is so that you can figure out contact information. What's the grading policies? What are the things you're going to need for this class? So let's do some of this together. Usually the very beginning of a syllabus gives you really important info. It's going to tell you who your teachers are. Now you might not have Mrs. Taufa or Mrs. O'Day, but the syllabus that you have in your hand from your teacher will give you their name. It's going to tell you the room, the blocks, and another really great piece of information are the email addresses. Please hang on to the syllabus because you're going to need to email your teachers a lot, especially if we go back into quarantine. You're going to need those email addresses. Another great thing about a syllabus is the course description. It's going to give you what it is we're going to be talking about this year. And you can read what Algebra 1 is going to be about. The thing with math is that it builds upon itself. So everything that you are doing in pre-algebra or Math 8 is going to be really important. It's going to be valuable. It's going to come back, and we'll talk about when it comes back. And then you're going to learn some really great new things. One of my personal favorite things to teach is exponential relationships. And you guys already are very aware of what exponential relationships are. That's how this coronavirus is growing, and by the end of the year, you're going to be able to model that with equations. So how did you get to Algebra 1? Well, a syllabus will always tell you the prereqs and where you're headed. So below is the chart. It's a flow chart, the math department flow chart, and you can find that. Go to the LHS website and look for curriculum guide, and on page 15 you will see all of the math requirements to graduate from high school. You are right here in the flow chart. If you look to the right, you will see the prereq. The prereq is a C or better in Math 8 or pre-algebra. So when you successfully complete Algebra 1, where would you go? That would be the next course. All Algebra 1 students who finish successfully will move on to geometry. Now, if you are a freshman and you would like to double up your sophomore year, that means you would take both geometry and algebra 2 as a sophomore. Then you will need to get an A in Algebra 1 and complete 90% of the homeworks at a B or better. Now you can take a look at that flow chart and see maybe why you would want to double up your sophomore year. If you have any questions about that or want to talk about a plan to help you succeed or help you get to that doubling up, please talk to one of your teachers, talk to us, and we can help you out and we can explain a little bit more why you'd want to double up. What are you going to need to be successful in Algebra 1? Everyone has to have a 3-ring notebook. That makes sure that we keep your notes, all of your papers in one place. You'll need one plastic, little durable folder. This folder will be carried with you throughout the entire 4 years of high school. Loose leaf paper, doesn't matter if it's wide or college ruled. Pencils, colored pencils. I highly recommend colored pencils. We have a few in the room, but with us having to disinfect, they might not always be able to be used. Same with highlighters. We use colored pencils and highlighters a lot in Algebra 1. A ruler, same thing. We have rulers, but because we have to disinfect so much, we cannot guarantee that we would have rulers all of the time. The number one supply that you're going to need is a scientific calculator. We use the TI 30X IIS. You can get that for $9 at Walmart. It does not have to be blue. You can order them on Amazon, blue, green, pink. The school has a few. However, just like stated before, the ones I have in class have to be disinfected, and we do not have enough for every 120 students that we see in our math room to be disinfected and cleaned. So this one will be key. Please bring these calculators. It is an important tool. What most people are looking for in the syllabus: the grading scale. How am I going to get the A? How am I going to just skate by with the C? Many students look for different reasons, but LHS math. Please note that math is highlighted for a reason. This grading scale only applies to the math department, not English, not social studies, not science. In order to get an A, you need to be between 90 and 100%. An 80 to an 89 is a B, and 70 to 79% is a C. Anything below 70% is an F. That's right, if your final grade is a 65% in Algebra 1, it will be an F. There are no Ds. That is because in high school math, each course builds upon itself in so much detail that we found that students who got Ds did not do well in their next course. Students who rise to the occasion and are able to get a C or better had a much better chance of succeeding in future math classes. So we just finished what our grading scale is. So what exactly will Algebra 1 students be graded on? Well, the big one is the assessments. Now, Algebra 1, as in all high school math classes, are weighted, meaning some things count for more, and assessments are in that category. Assessments will be 80% of your grade. Take a look at the scale below. That means that part of the scale is much heavier. Well, what's the other part? The other part is going to be that daily work. What are you doing on a daily basis to be better at Algebra 1? That's going to be 20% of your grade. What this means is that even if you got 100% on every single assessment and you decided not to do any daily work, you're going to get an 80% in the class. If you're going to get an A in Algebra 1, you're going to have to do some daily work and do well on those assessments. Because 80% of your grade is that in that assessment category, that's what's going to move your grade the most. So if you're at a B and you're trying to get to an A, it's an assessment that's going to move the grade the most. Now that you know that assessments are 80% of your grade, what is an assessment and what are you going to be tested on in Algebra 1? The one you're going to see the most are going to be short cycles, and that are going to be between 10-15 problems, and it's assessing what we're learning right now in class. So for Chapter 1, it's going to be about function notation, and the short cycle is going to only be about function notation. A lot of math is what you remember. How much do you retain? So checkpoints are going to be assessing topics that you've already mastered. We will have a checkpoint on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. You need that to move on successfully in Algebra 1. Midterms are going to be more like your traditional math exams. These math exams will happen every 9 weeks. The midterm will happen the first 9 weeks, and it's what we call cumulative. It means it covers everything we've learned in 9 weeks. It's not just over one topic. And then finals. That really is the most traditional of all math exams. It is an exam, and it's going to cover an entire semester of what you've learned. Again, that means it's cumulative. So what happens if you don't do well on one of those assignments? Well, retakes are allowed for short cycles, checkpoints, and midterms if you complete credit recovery. We'll get to credit recovery in a later slide. That 20% of your grade is going to be this thing called daily work. So what is daily work? Well, review previews, i.e. homework. You will be assigned 2 to 3 homeworks or review previews a week in Canvas. Yes, they are mandatory. Always, always, always in Canvas. I know that sometimes Canvas can be frustrating, so it's going to really help you to communicate that with us. Don't sit at home and stay frustrated. Talk to us. We can usually solve problems in under a minute when you come talk to us. If you're struggling, please go ahead and write your problems down. Don't try to do all of Algebra 1 in your head. It makes it really tough. You will have an entire chapter to turn in all homeworks, but once that chapter closes, that's it. Meaning, once Chapter 1 is finished, you can't go back in December and finish Chapter 1 homeworks. Review previews are designed so it should take you between about 20 minutes, mostly less, but it could be between 20 and 30 minutes. If you are spending hours on your review previews, stop and come talk to your teachers. It should not be taking that long, and we will figure out maybe what's happening if it takes you that long. Please note there are no excuses. I am currently in grad school, as many of the other teachers are studying and doing other things, and we have homework just like you. Okay? If you're going to choose not to do your review previews or your daily work, Friday mornings will be spent with one of us. Okay? On your online days, make sure you're really completing these review previews. So let's talk about what happens if you don't do well on an assessment. We talked about this a little before, but there is something called credit recovery. Now here's the wonderful thing about Algebra 1. We don't expect you to master a topic the first time you see it. It takes a lot of time and practice to master something. So if you take Chapter 1 short cycle and you don't do well on it, don't fear, you will be able to retake it. Credit recovery is the path to retakes. It will take place Friday mornings, and if you are in need of credit recovery, you and your parents will be notified. Please remember that there is no summer school, so if you fail Algebra 1, then there's no like come in at the last minute and make it up in June or July. You will just retake the course. So these credit recovery options on Friday mornings will really help you. But let's say you didn't fail a short cycle or a midterm or a checkpoint. Then you just need some extra help. Please talk to your teachers, and we will, of course, be willing to work with you on those Friday mornings. Friday mornings are going to be designed to help you if you are struggling. Communicate that with us. Remember, all short cycles, checkpoints, midterms can be retaken if credit recovery is finished. There are no retakes for finals. But if you're doing well on all of those other assessments, you won't need to really worry about the final. You got it. Just like every classroom, we have expectations for when you walk in the door. And really it's just going to be come prepared and on time. And this year, more than any other year, be sanitized. Use the hand sanitizing station before you enter class and after you leave, or when you leave class. Respect others and their property. We're going to be staying 6 feet away from each other, even when we move around the room. We'll be doing work on our whiteboards and out in the hall, and we will maintain this 6 feet distance. Snacks and drinks are allowed until it becomes a problem. That means if you bring a family-sized bag of Doritos and you leave crumbs all over the floor, we will have a discussion about snacks in the classroom. Again, with the cell phones, they will be put away and silent. Any disruptive behavior will be handled according to the school policy, which again you can find on the LHS website. And please, on your virtual days, Canvas and logging into Canvas and doing the virtual day assignments is expected. Your virtual days are not optional. We will be moving through Algebra 1 with the understanding that you are working on those off days. That ended our discussion about the syllabus, and so let's take a dive into looking at some other classroom expectations. Let's look at the classroom breaks. You will have a raffle ticket, 9 chances to win at each 9 weeks. So at midterm and at the end of the semester, we will you'll draw a raffle ticket for some fabulous prizes. When you need to take a break from class, ask the teacher, and we will sign and date your raffle ticket. Once you have used all 9 of your raffle tickets, that's the end. No more going to the bathroom. You will then sign out on the form in front of the podium. It's on the podium on the desk. Okay, again, you will need to sanitize. In the past, we had you take a hall pass. I'm not sure with sanitizing this year what will happen, but you will need to sanitize your hands before and after you use the hall pass. There's a 4-minute time limit on all classroom breaks. Only 1 person is allowed out of the classroom at a time. And the bathroom and the drinking fountain that we use is at the very end of the yellow pod. That means you don't go down to PE. That means you don't go up to the blue pod to use the bathroom and drinking fountain up there. Yellow pod. The first and last 10 minutes of class is dedicated time. We will not be signing any raffle tickets to check out of the room at those times. So again, what constitutes an emergency? If you feel like you're going to throw up, please don't ask. Please do not wait. Leave the room. Okay? Head on out. Okay? If you think you might faint or you need to go to the nurse, we have a different hall pass. Use that. It's an LHS card on a yellow lanyard. Please communicate with us. I'm not feeling well. I might have to leave the room. If that happens, just run. We will worry about things later. Safety procedures for Algebra 1 classes are important, especially for those of us who are in the all-glassed rooms. I know there's always concerns about that, but we will be following the standard response protocol. If we have a fire drill or we need to evacuate, we as a class will stay together. You do not get to leave and then go find your friends. Our tree, we showed you that, or we will show you that, our first day, and we will meet by our tree. Again, you're not wandering off looking for friends. If you are not in class when the alarm goes off, just join the closest class and leave the building. Notify the teacher, and we have a system of getting you back to the right place. We do not use cell phones during an emergency. You may text your mom or dad and say, I'm all right, we're just having a drill. But we are not texting our friends and making maybe a small situation even more chaotic. We must keep phone lines and the Wi-Fi clear for the real emergencies. If we are in a lockout, that means it's business as usual. We keep teaching, and we're just, sometimes they'll bring the dogs through, sometimes the dogs will come into our room, but it is mostly we lock the doors and we keep learning and teaching. If we are in a lockdown, If you are in Mrs. Taufa's room, we will be moving to Mr. Hogsett's room, which is right across because there are no glass doors. And that is where we will have the lights off, doors locked, and everyone out of sight in a lockdown. If we need to shelter in place, that would be like a tornado, we will be directed on where we will be headed, and it will be very important that you listen to us in that time of emergency. This is going to be an unusual year because we will not be able to utilize very much in terms of our groups. In Algebra 1, we rely heavily on the use of teams and grouping students together to help each other. We truly believe that students can be the best teachers at times, and you learn well from each other. However, this year is going to be a challenge. I don't believe we will be able to use as many different teaching styles as in the past, but don't be surprised if you see different seating arrangements. We will walk you through those different seating arrangements and what they mean. All you have to know is that your name will be on a desk. Find your name and have a seat. Please do not move your name. You are there for a reason. If you would like to know the reason, just come ask. We'll tell you why. And yes, you've heard it probably around 100 times, but we're going to sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. Every time you leave and enter the room, please use the hand sanitizer. It's going to keep us together in school, learning in the building a lot longer. Same with the face mask. Keep your face masks on unless we are given a face mask break if we go outside. This is a non-negotiable. I will be wearing one. All Algebra 1 teachers will be wearing one. We expect you to be wearing one. Thank you for watching this entire PowerPoint. You are going to head back to Canvas now, and you are going to be taking a classroom and syllabus expectation quiz. Remember, Algebra 1 is a great class. If you would ever feel lost or confused, reach out to your teachers. We are here to help, and that is what we'll do. Have a great day, Algebra 1.